Yeah, there you go.
All right. Shalom, shalom. I'd like to start off by saying, Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Call Haloyim La Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who grew well, and the like-minded brothers. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that scattered abroad, the Akim and the Aqua that's listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, willing that the lesson is edifying. It's the brother Schwab on Mawan back at you with another lesson. And going into the title, Lights Out, Ignorant Devices, all right? 2026 year of the N.W.O and technology, all right? And what I'm going to play is two videos, all right? I'll play the first video and I'll bring out a couple of precepts. Then I'll play the second video and bring out a couple of precepts concerning that video. And then I'll close it out through spirit, all right? So this first video, Shalom, Malak, Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shah, Barakatah. This first video is, listen to what's being said, which I spoke about this yesterday, all right? But it was going into DT speaking at his little speech, all right, saying how they have a certain device that can just cut lights out, all right? And that's how, and that's what was used when they went to bring the attack upon Venezuela, all right? So showing you that this devil has technology and the power to cut off lights as fast as he wants, you see? And that's what's going to happen in these last days in America, man. See, America, they're going to cut the lights out in America, whether you like it or not, you see? It's going to be like in the time of Egypt when they had seen for 3 days straight darkness to the point where they couldn't even see in front of them, all right? That they can actually feel the darkness, all right? So that's coming to America, all right, by the way of cyber attack, by the way of EMP, you know. So, you know, they have the power, you know, which an EMP is what? An electric magnetic pulse, all right, that can knock out all, you know, all your servers, all your power, all your frequencies, you know what I'm saying? That's, you know, being generated to your household, man, all right. And they have the power to turn it on and they have the power to turn it to turn it off, you see? So, you know, when the way of this blackout comes, all right, is going to be an orchestrated thing, all right, which is ultimately going to be, you know, from Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, all right, bringing the plagues of Egypt as before, all right. Let's grab that real quick. This is Second Ezra, the 15th chapter, okay. Let me get to it. This is Second Ezra 15 and 10, and it says, behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt, all right, which is talking about America, because we're spiritually Sodom in Egypt. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and stretched out arm and smite Egypt, America, with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundations of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah shall bring upon it. All right. So, you know, this is how we know, speaking of America, because it says, I will smite Egypt with plagues as before. Okay. So, you know, Egypt, you know, the things that happen in Egypt only happen in the ancient time. All right. But he's saying that he's going to smite Egypt as before, meaning again. Okay. Like in the times of Egypt. All right. So, let's play this video and then I'll grab some precepts to it. All right, this is.
Were you listening when Donald Trump said this? Maduro in the dead of night. It was dark. The
The lights of Caracas were largely turned off due to a certain expertise that we have.
It sounds like what he's saying is the United States has the capability of turning off the lights for 1.9 million people in a large Latin American country like that. And of course, I wouldn't believe it if there wasn't a video.
Y después van hacia arriba, ¿sí? Siempre, o parte de su madre o parte
And what's crazy, if you look in the background of that video, there was a flash behind that nigga before the lights actually got cut off. Let's grab that again.
In a large Latin American country.
Watch that flash behind him.
And of course, I wouldn't believe it if there wasn't a video.
Y después van hacia arriba, ¿sí? Siempre, o parte de su madre o parte de...
You saw that flash?
What this tells me is Nicolas Maduro was literally in the dark in his fortress. He probably couldn't find his way to the safe room without lights. It's also why he probably wasn't able to close it. He was feeling around, probably looking for the lever to pull it closed. Couldn't find it. Were you listening when Donald Trump said this?
These devils have the power to do that, man. All right. And that is prophecy that the plagues of Egypt shall return. All right. In those last days. Okay. Because the Lord is bringing the plagues upon America, just like he did in Egypt. All right. And there's going to be plagues that are not even written in his book done to America. All right. So, you know, again, one of them being that these lights are going to be cut off. All right. Let's grab this scripture. All right. This is Isaiah. This is Isaiah 60:2. And it says, for behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But the Lord Yahweh shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. All right. Why? Because we are going to be, as the scriptures say, we are the light, all right, of the world. Let's grab that. This is 1 Thessalonians, all right, 5:4. And it says, but ye brethren are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief, right? Ye are all the children of lights and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness. Therefore let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. For they that sleep in the night and they that be drunken are drunken in the night. But let us who are of the day be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love, and for a helmet the hope of salvation. Okay, so we are the children of the light, man. So the light of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai will always shine, all right, over the darkness. As the scriptures tell you in John, the 1st chapter, the darkness comprehended not the light, all right. But, you know, the Lord's word, all right, shines in us through the Spirit, all right. This is 2 Corinthians 4:4, all right. Actually, let's take it from 6. For Yahweh, who commanded the light to shine out of darkness, has shined in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of Yahweh in the face of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. You see, so we're filled with the glory of Yahweh's words, man. All right. So even when the time comes that darkness shall cover the earth, okay, and gross darkness to people, which that means the ignorance of people, okay, but the darkness of the earth that's going to cover this place, man, we're going to shine because the word of the Lord is a lamp right onto our feet. Let's grab that. This is where's that at? Give me 1 second. This is 2 Samuel 22:9-29. It says, for thou art my lamp, O Lord Yahweh, and the Lord Yahweh will lighten my darkness. Okay, this is Psalms 119:105. It says, thy word is a lamp unto my feet and the light unto my path. You see, so at the end of the day, all right, when the lights get cut off out here, right, and darkness covers the whole earth, by us having the word of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, we're going to have no worries, because the name of the Lord is a strong tower, and the righteous man runneth into it and is safe. All right, us having the word of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai makes us the children of the light. You see, this light, as we just read in Psalms 119 and 105, thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light onto my path. So this word is a guide through the darkness of this place, man. And this is the shadow of darkness. Okay, America is the shadow of darkness. So at the end of the day, all right, no matter how wicked it gets out here, how evil, all right, and dark it gets, we are going to be filled with the light of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. It tells you that, and this is why you have to stay focused with the word of the Lord, man. All right, let's grab that. This is Matthew, the 5th chapter. It might be in the 6th chapter. Matter of fact, let me grab this one. This is the Spirit. 5 and 14. Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Okay, again, having the light of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai lights up the room, you see, and the light will always conquer over the darkness, man. All right, this is the one I wanted is, I think, in the 6th chapter. Let me just make sure, since I'm right here in the 5th. This is Matthew, let me see, in the 6th chapter, Matthew 6, and yeah, this is Matthew 6 and 22. It says, the light of the body is the eye. All right. If therefore thine eye be single, all right, meaning what? You're going to be focused in Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. You're going to be active. You're going to be as lively stones. All right. Especially you men. You men are supposed to be active and be lively stones onto Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. So lively stones requires you to be active. All right. And to whom much is given, much is required. So the Lord requires us to be active stones. Okay, lively in this truth. All right, so that whole body could be filled with light. Okay, so it says the light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, okay, meaning what? Focus, thy whole body shall be full of light. But if thy eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore that light, the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness? Okay, let's grab that in the NLT. It says your eye is a lamp that provides light for your body. When your eye is good, your whole body is filled with light. But when your eye is bad, your whole body is filled with darkness. And if the light you think you have is actually darkness, how deep that darkness is, you see? So this is why you have to remain in the word of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, so you can be filled with the light of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. You see? Shalom Malak, Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, Barakatah. Okay? So, with that being said, all right, let's grab, what's that? Exodus 12, I believe it is. Give me 1 second. I believe it's in the 12th chapter. All right. Give me 1 second, Salakia. This is, oh, it's 10th chapter. This is Exodus 10 and 21. All right. And it says, but the Lord Yahweh, I'll take it from 10 and 20. It says, but the Lord Yahweh hardened Pharaoh's heart so that he would not let the children of Israel go. okay? And see, the Pharaoh of today's world, all right, which is DT, okay, has the Israelites in his hand, all right? And the Lord has basically told him to let, through the Spirit, to let us go, all right? But see, he is going to be found with, Esau's going to be found with us in his hands, man, okay? So, that's one of the main reasons why the Lord going to destroy him, all right? Because he not letting our people go, all right? But the same way that the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, all right, is the same way he's hardening up the kings of the earth, their hearts, right? So it says, and the Lord Yahweh said unto Moses, stretch out thine hand toward heaven, and there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, even darkness which may be felt. Okay, so these are one of the plagues that the Lord brought upon Egypt, right, in that time. All right, the same plague that's going to be brought, okay, in America today. All right, because the Lord said in Ecclesiastes 1:9, all right, it says, the thing that has been, it is which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It has been already of old time, which was before us, you see? So, these things happen, all right, literally, through reincarnation, all right? History repeats itself in the scriptures, man. So the same thing that was done in Egypt is going to be done here in these times, man, all right? And what did the Lord do when lights was getting cut off in Egypt, man? After that, firstborns was being killed, you see, being taken away from the Egyptians. That's going to happen in these days too, all right? A lot of you jakes, man, your firstborns are going to be snatched away from you when these lights get cut off, all right? Because it is a plague from the ancient that's going to be brought back to us, all right, through reincarnation, because history repeats itself, man. Okay, so let's go back to Exodus 12. Let's lock your 10. And come on. 10 and 22. And it says, and Moses stretched forth his hand toward heaven, and there was a thick darkness, okay, a thick darkness in all the land of Egypt 3 days, and they saw not one another, neither rose any from his place for 3 days. But all the children of Israel had light in their dwellings. You see why? Because they had they had Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai upon them, man. You see, so we have to remain in the light of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai to be having light in that time. Okay. And it's like at the time of the Passover, man, what were they doing? All right, the death angels was coming, all right, to see who had the Wa, the mark of exemption of judgment. Okay, so when that time comes that the lights are cut off in this place, man, you better hope, all right, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, that you have the Wa, all right, that exemption of judgment. So when the death angels come, because whenever there's darkness, the death angels is there, man, all right, and they're there to take lives, man. They're there to appease the wrath of him that made them. Okay, they can't wait to do what they're commanded to do by the Lord. All right, because remember, the Lord is what controls these demons, so they tremble at the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, so we have to make sure at all times that we are walking in the light of our power, man. All right, to be illuminated in that day of darkness, when that darkness covers the earth. All right, and gross darkness to people, because once the gross darkness covers the people, the ignorance comes out. So the gross darkness is going to cause these people to be, hyenas, man. These people going to go, because iniquity abound, the love of many is going to wax cold. People going to panic. See, but we're not going to panic because we're filled with the light and understanding of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, right? So let's see. What do you do for your beard to grow? Man, you just got to wash that up. It says Matthew 24:19, and it says, and woe unto them that are with child, and them that give, and to them that give suck in those days. Yeah, and a lot of those children, all right, in those days, man, a lot of things is going to happen to these children, man. All right, a lot of them going to go through a lot of troubles. All right, see, that's why it's not good for you to to have children in these days. You know, it's not saying that you can't, all right, because, you know, if the Lord, you know, allows you to have them, you know, hey, that's a gift of the Lord, all right. But, you know, it's best that we don't have children, all right, in these days, because they're gonna go through a lot of struggles, man, all right, especially with, you know, your food source being taken away right now. You know, the Lord is, you know, little by little, he's gonna take, you know, he's gonna take everything, all the benefits of America, man, which is food and water. You see, that's gonna be taken away from us, because this is gonna be an actual famine of bread and water at one point. And then, you know, famine of the word, you know, which is gonna be of hearing the words of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. You know, not too long ago, I had a newborn that didn't make it. You know, which, you know, unfortunately, you know, it was a tough time for that moment. But man, I had to keep pushing, understanding that, hey, you know, the scriptures say that some are taken away to be spared from evil. So, you know, through the spirit, you know, I believe the Lord took him away so he don't have to go through the struggles that he about to go through, because he would have been born in March. All right. So, you know, complications ended up happening, whatever happened, you know, the way it went down. But it was made for the Lord to have it that way, man. You know, and especially, you know, with all these new laws being passed, and, you know, children being put into the predicament of being, you know, C-hipped, okay, with all these digital IDs that's about to be rolled out, it's going to be tough times for little mans, you know what I'm saying? So the Lord, you know, ended up, you know, taking them away and sparing them from evil, Lord willing, you see? But see, this is why you don't want to have children in these last days, man, because that ain't the you know, the good thing to have in these last days. You know, that could mess your mind up, all right, if you're not spiritually, you know, grounded and rooted in this truth. All right. So, you know, this is what's coming to America with these lights being cut off. These devils have the devices to be able, okay, to you know, do these things. As a matter of fact, let me grab this out, grab this last precept, and then I'll go into the other video. This is what did I want? Psalms, I think it's 37. This is Psalms 37. Hold on. Wicked devices to pass. Yeah, it should be 37. I probably went right past it. Yeah, it was. This is oh yeah, all right, 7. Yeah, Salakia. 37 and 7 in Psalms. It says, rest in the Lord Yahweh and wait patiently for him. Fret not thyself because of him who prospereth in his way, because of the man who bringeth wicked devices to pass. You see, and one of his wicked devices, the main one's going to be him bringing this RFID. Okay, but you know, him using his technology, being able to cut out the lights. All right, that's a wicked device that he's going to bring to pass, because that's exactly how these lights is going to go out here, man. It's going to be orchestrated, man. It's going to be them cutting off your own government, going to cut off your lights over here to bring mayhem upon this place, man, for them to make moves in the dark. All right, that's why, see, this is why you have to take heed through the spirit. When these things are done, you have to read it spiritually, man, because you understand that Jake, all right, that's the northern kingdom out there in Venezuela. So those are a whole bunch of Israelites that they brought mayhem to. And what did they do to our people? They cut off the lights. They cut off their lights. And now with them cutting off the lights, they were able to make certain moves. All right. It brings people into a desperation state of mind. People that are criminals, you know, they love the darkness. When the lights cut out, criminals come out, man. You see? So, you know, you gotta take that into consideration, that, hey, this is what this devil's trying to do, cut off lights and be able to make moves on Jake, all right, while the lights are cut off. Okay, and a lot of wicked things happen when the lights get cut off. All right, so that's that. All right, now let's grab this second part of the video real quick, and I'll grab this video, and then I'll bring out some precepts and close out. This is the second part. All right.
Elon Musk says brain chips are going mainstream in 2026. Yes, actual chips implanted in human brains. Musk just announced that Neuralink plans to begin high-volume production of its brain-computer interface this year, using what he calls an almost entirely automated brain surgery. Automated brain surgery. This device is a coin-sized chip implanted under your skull, with over 1,000 electrodes reading your brain signals and sending them straight to a computer. Right now, it's marketed for people with paralysis, and some patients can already browse the internet, play video games, post online, and control devices using only their thoughts. That part sounds incredible, but here's the part that should make you uncomfortable. Neuralink's first attempt at human trials was rejected by the FDA over safety concerns. They only got approval after making changes. And even then, early implants had problems with electrodes pulling out of brain tissue. Musk says they've fixed that now. And his long-term goal? He says the point is to create a symbiosis between humans and AI and to give people superpowers. So let's be clear. This is about putting hardware in human brains at scale, with automation, mass production, and one of the most powerful tech billionaires on Earth steering the future.
What Neuralink is and what the goal of it is.
We put a chip in your brain to control your mind. Yeah.
Okay.
Is to create a one-world government where everybody has an RFID chip implanted in them. All money is to be in those chips, right? There'll be no more cash. And this is getting me straight from Rockefeller himself. This is what they want to accomplish. And all money will be in your chips. And so, instead of having cash, anytime you have money in your chip, they can take out whatever they want to take out whenever they want to. If they say you owe us this much money in taxes, they just deduct it out of your chip digitally. Total control. Total control. And if you're like me or you,
there you go. Total control. That's what it's all about. That's what ESO wants.
All right. So it goes back to being what? Total technocracy. Okay.
Elon Musk says brain chips are going mean.
anytime.
It goes into total technocracy, man. Having total control of your every move. All right. Having total control of everything you do in your life. All right, you're not going to be able to have any more loopholes. All right, see, we still have loopholes to be able to, you know, make it around Uncle Sam, you know, and you know, basically, you know, do things on the side to you know, get by without these devils knowing. But see, now with this technology, with this new world, all right, you already know that they're bringing in, all right. There's going to be no more, you know, you can beat the government. You can do things on the side where they don't know about, you know, there's going to be no more loopholes. All right. And, you know, just like the guy said, they're talking about this constant, this it's going to be a heavy word that's being used in these in 2026. And this is why I coined out this year through the spirit. All right. The year of the N.W.O. All right. Slash technology, because that's what's being rolled out. In 2026, it's going to be rolled out whether you like it or not. What now? Are they going to make it mandatory? Lord willing, they do. All right. But see, the technology's in the air already. The technology's already created. Okay. It's just a matter of time before they make it mandatory. People are already taking it. All right. Because the scriptures talk about that word stigma, right? 666. When you go into it, it goes into Kai-Zai stigma. All right. Let's grab that real quick. This is Revelation 13 and 18. And it says, here's wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the BEAST, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. So when you go into that number that word, all right, well, that number 666, all right, it goes into Kai-Zai stigma. All right. And when you go into the definition of that, it says, a mark pricked in or branded upon the body. To ancient Oriental usage, slaves and soldiers bore the name or the stamp of their master or commander, branded or pricked, meaning cut into their bodies to indicate what master or general they belong to. And this is the point, and there were even some devotees who stamped themselves in this way with the token of their gods. So there were people that already freely did these things, man. And you see that today. There are people that are walking around that already have them without them being actually forced to do it, because that's already their God. They were already they already love their God of technology. You see? So, you know, there was a video I did about, I want to say about a month ago. All right. You had the one guy that, you know, he was showing you true humanism. he had the chip put into his brain, right? And you could see it in his eyes that he was all fucked up. You know, it was making him, you know, function in a certain manner, but you could tell through his eyes was yellow as hell from having it in his body. All right. And having it in his brain. And basically he was talking about how this is going to be the new future, you see? And he said that it made him stronger, it made him feel stronger. You see, that's what they're talking about, that it's going to have the power to give you superhuman powers, man. When it really ain't going to have no spiritual power behind it, man, because the Lord was going to give you spiritual power. What that's going to do is just going to be the power that you're going to have is going to be a controlled power that they're going to be able to hack into your brain and make you do extra things, man. You know, just think of the movie The Matrix, when Neo was plugged up and they were able to make him fight, you know, do all these extra things. You see, that's what they're trying to get to. But see, the Lord is going to disappoint the devices of the crafty, man. All right, let's grab that real quick. All right, so their hands cannot perform their enterprise. All right, this is Job. All right, 5 and 12. It says he disappointed. I'll take it from 11 to set up on high those that be low. Okay, that those which mourn may be exalted to safety. Right. It says he disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the forward is carried headlong. Okay, so the Lord, all right, is going to lift up a standard against this devil, all right, just when he's about to be at the height of his sufficiency. All right, let's grab that. This is Job 20. And let's grab 5. That 4, knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of a hypocrite for a moment. All right, so this devil boasting himself and his wicked devices, as the scriptures say, all right, in Psalms the 10th chapter, right, verse 3, that the wicked boasted himself in his devices. Okay, and that's what he's doing. He's boasting himself in his technology. All right, but the triumphing of the wicked is short, and this is why he has to move at rapid speed, because the Lord is gonna intervene. You see, and his ass will, you know, he has the thought that if he doesn't move fast, well then, you know, he'll never get to it. Okay, so he's gonna move fast because the Lord gonna harden up his heart to do it. You see, so it says the triumphing of the wicked is short, because he know that he has but a short time. This is why he's gonna come down on you people with great wrath, and the joy of a hypocrite for a moment. So he's only, you know, ruling for a little bit of time. Okay, it says, though his excellency mount up to the clouds, right, meaning his pride, all right, and his heads reach onto the clouds, yet he shall perish forever like his own dung, that which they which have seen him shall say, where is he? All right, so now let's drop down to 20 and 22. It says, in the fullness of his sufficiency he shall be in straight. See, he is at the top of his sufficiency, man. And the fullness of his sufficiency is basically going at the height of his technology. See, he is at the height of his technology right now. This is why all he has to do is just make it mandatory and bring it out. You see, roll it on out, because he has the height of it already. You see, and he can't go no more than what he has already. He has his bounds that he cannot pass. So he has no choice but to roll it out, because that technology is at its highest it can ever be. All right, to the point where he's able to bring it into your body. Okay, as it tells you in 2 Thessalonians 2 and 4. All right, that he wants to sit in the temple of God. And who's the temple of God? The temple of God is us, as the scriptures say. Know ye not that you are the temple of the Most High? Okay, so he's going to sit in the temple of God with what? With his technology, presenting himself that he is God, that showing that he is power. You see, that he has power over you. Okay, just like the Lord has power all over everybody, right? He trying to make it seem like he has the power to rule over everybody. He has the power of making man in his image. Okay, that's what the Genesis mission is about, right? Him bringing mankind into his image. All right, the image of what? The image of the beast. Okay, but in the fullness of his sufficiency, right? He shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. Yeah, because he's going to be in straits, meaning he's going to be in difficult times. Okay, at the same time, at the sufficiency of his, at the height of his sufficiency, of him having all this technology, is going to be a hard thing to actually get it into everybody. All right, that's why a lot of people going to end up dying in Jacob's trouble. All right, and then the rest that bow down to his image and bow down to his society going to line right on up. All right, and the ones that line right on up, the Lord is going to destroy them, man, with thermonuclear missiles, because the Lord said that you don't have to feel the wrath of his indignation, all right, through the Lamb, all right, and through his holy angels, all right, and that's going to come by the way of the chariots, all right, and these thermonuclear missiles. So it says, when he is about to fill up his belly, Yahweh shall cast his fury upon of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. You see, so while he thinks that he has the world in the palm of his hand on some pinky in the brain shit, right? He's going to lift up that standard against him, all right? And he's going to disappoint, okay? Let's grab that again. Job 5:12. He disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise, you see? So it's only going to happen for a little bit of amount of time, all right? But the Lord's just going to dead all of that, all right? As the scriptures say in Proverbs, all right? Let me grab this. Proverbs, where's it at? 1 second. This is 19 and 21. It says, there are many devices in a man's heart. Nevertheless, the counsel of the Lord Yahweh shall stand. So what's written is not going to return unto him void, man. You see? Okay, exactly. This is Matthew 4. All right, because the Lord going to put the same way he was trying to deceive Yahawashi, right? When the Lord had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, right? He was weak-minded at that time, you see? And we're going to be weak-minded at one point, because we're not going to have our benefits, man. We're not going to have food, water, you know? The things that we need the most is going to be taken away for us as a test of our faith, because every unfortunate situation is a test of your faith. So the Lord going to really test us in that hour of temptation to see if we're worthy to be gold, right? So it says, but he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of Yahweh. All right. So what, you know, Esau basically going to come to us while we're down and out. All right. He going to try to offer us the world. He going to try to offer us, you know, make us go to him for the want of all things. All right. But the scriptures say the Lord is my shepherd and you shall not want. So you shouldn't want none of these things, man, because you don't need bread to survive. You don't need water to survive, right? All you need is the words of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shah to get by. All right, that's what's going to get you by. Having that true spiritual manna, okay? As the scriptures tell you in John the 6th chapter, all right, your fathers did eat bread in the wilderness and they are dead, all right, because they were all about having a physical, actual presentation in front of them, all right, thinking that that's what was going to get them by, all right? But they had the true bread of life, which was Yahweh Shai. That was the way to get through. You see, and that's what's going to be our way to get through, is having the true bread of life, which is Yahweh Shai. Exactly. He wants to see if you're going to put your trust in him. That's what it's about, to see how much you're going to put your trust in Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, man. And you cannot, you know, put an ounce. You got to put 100% trust in the Lord, man. All right. As long as you have the faith of a mustard seed, man, you can remove a mountain. But all you need is a little ounce of a mustard seed, right? Of doubt for you to be, you know, completely taken away from your reward, man. So the moment you have a little bit of doubt, well, then Esau gonna end up winning, and he gonna make you line up. You see, so you have to make sure that you abide in the trust of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai all the way. Okay, so let's grab this. This is Psalms I want to say 64. Actually, let me grab Isaiah 32 and 7. It says, the instruments also of the churl are evil, and he deviseth wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words, even when the needy speaketh right. All right. So, you know, the instruments, the devices of this devil, right? This is why the Lord said, you know, be not ignorant of Satan's devices, man. All right. Because that's why I titled it. All right. Ignorant devices, because we cannot be ignorant to the devices that this devil has, to the schemes. All right. He's going to have all types of different little schemes to try to make you give in. All right. But as long as you stay prayed up, as long as you have Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai walking with you, man, all right, you are not going to be sifted away. Remember, the Lord is always trying, Satan is always trying to sift us. All right. That word sift goes into Sanazo. Okay. I believe it goes into Sanazo. Let me make sure. All right. This is Luke 22, and let's just read that part real quick. This is 22 and 31. It says, and the Lord Yahweh Shah said, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan has desired to have you, that he may sift you as wheat. Okay, so to have you, he has desired, right? This is what Satan's going to do. He's desiring to sift us. All right, so he's going to literally go up to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, just like he did when it came to Job, right? When Job was going through what he went through, he was actually begging the Lord to sift Job, to make him turn away from his faith, all right? So to desire someone is to beg, all right? You're going to have Satan trying to beg, all right, Yahweh, to sift us away from the truth. To sift us means to turn you away by inward agitation, right? To sift you away from your faith, okay? So that word desired goes into exoteo, right? And it says to ask from, demand of, ask or beg for oneself, to ask that one be given up to one from the power of another. You see? So that's what is going to happen. He's going to try to torture you mentally, all right, to make you be given up from your power onto the power of Satan, power of Esau, all right, because Esau's working through Satan, man. You see? And then when you go into that word sift, it goes into sanazo, all right, which says to, by inward agitation, to try one's faith to the verge of overthrow. So mentally, all right, this devil's going to try to mess with our minds to make us turn our faith onto him, you see? And that's why you have to stay prayed up, all right? Make, as the scriptures say, make no provision for the flesh. All right, let's grab that. This is this is Romans 13 and 14. It says, but put ye on the Lord Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, and make no provision for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof. You see? So provision, all right, let's go into that word provision. All right. Provision goes into pronia, right? It says for thought, providential care, to make provision for a thing, okay? Meaning what? To give care to it, okay? It also goes into to perceive, foresee, take thought for, care for a thing. That's the main thing. See, we're not going to care for the things of the flesh, all right? Because those that are of the flesh mind the things of the flesh, and those that are the spirit mind the things of the spirit, man. So we care about walking in the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. So we're not going to make provision to for the flesh, man. Okay? We want nothing to do with that, all right? As a matter of fact, I had something else in my mind that made me think of it. a precept to it. To make no provision for the flesh, to fulfill the lust thereof. Lord willing to come back to me. All right, but let's just read that again. It says, but put ye on the Lord Yahawashi, Hamashiach, and make no provision for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof. Okay, so you know, you don't want to walk no way towards the flesh. Okay, because you know, once you walk towards the flesh, all right, it's easy for your as the scriptures say, the flesh is weak. Okay, let's grab that real quick. This is Mark 14:38. Watch ye and pray, lest ye enter into temptation. The spirit truly is ready, but the flesh is weak. Okay, and this is why you have to stay prayed up. Okay. Because when you stay prayed up, you stay fasting, all right? Especially fasting is great because it kills the flesh. So, you know, making no provision to the flesh, there you go, that's what it is. Making no provision to the flesh, you want wisdom to meet you in your thoughts, you see? And when you make provision for the flesh, wisdom won't meet you in your thoughts. You see, you're just going to go according to your flesh. You're going to go according to your appetite. That's why the scriptures say, refrain from the lust of your appetites, man. You see? So the moment that you have lust in your mind, all right, you are easily enticed. Okay? Let's grab that real quick. This is James. All right? This is James 1:12. And it says, blessed is the man that endureth temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord Yahawashi has promised to them that love him. Let no man say when he is tempted, all right, because we're going to be tempted, all right, I am tempted of Yahweh. Yeah, because we're not, because the Lord is not what tempts you, is Satan that tempts you. Satan, the Lord sends Satan to come and tempt you, you see? To come and deal with your mind and mess with you in your mind. But if you are prayed up, right, and you have the spirit of the Lord in you, all right, wisdom is going to meet you in your thoughts when you are tempted, all right? So the Lord will send Satan to come in and test you, all right? And then what? It says, I am tempted of Yahweh, for Yahweh cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempteth he any man. But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed. And when lust has conceived, it bringeth forth sin. And sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth death, you see. So eventually, by you giving into your flesh, all right, it's going to cause you to sin, especially in the time of the hour of the temptation, man, you see. So in the hour of temptation, it's going to be very important for you to stay prayed up and basically fast, man. And that's why the Lord, if you really think about it and you look at it spiritually, the Lord is going to starve us at one point for a reason. Because if you've been fasting and you understand fasting, when you are not eating and you're not drinking, that's your time to throw yourself into a fast towards the Lord, you see. And it's going to make no provision for the flesh because you're in the spirit of fasting. And instead of looking at it as, oh shit, I'm hungry as hell, I need to eat, you should be looking at it like, fuck it, I ain't got nothing to eat, I ain't got nothing to drink. It's time for me to fast to the Lord to draw closer, you see. And by you not drawing, you know, being enticed by the lust of what you want, all right, you're not going to be able to be, you're not going to be able to sin before your maker. Why? Because you're walking in the spirit, as opposed to if you don't look at it as a fast. All right, you're going to look at it like, oh shit, I'm hungry as hell. And your mind is going to take over and you're going to try to fulfill that urge, you see? And that's what Esau is going to try to do. He's going to try to put you in that spirit, all right, of making you go to him for the want of all things, okay? So it's important, all right, that you keep yourself, you know, in the spirit of the spirit, basically, all right? So let's grab, let's see what else we got. Simply put, it means you stop eating completely. Hold on. Yeah. completely or almost completely for a certain stretch of time. A fast usually lasts for 12 to 24 hours, but some types continue for days at a time. That's right. And it's the longer you fast, all right, a good fast is a day. All right, you should always fast when the time of the Sabbath comes around. You know, that's a good day to fast because that's the day that you tend to the Lord, right? You know, but if you can fast more than that, the more you fast, the more powerful it becomes. You know, and when you fast, you got to be praying to the Lord. You know, reading. All right, so it's important. All right, to try to exercise your way of fasting with the Lord to draw yourself closer. You know, go a couple days. You got to test out your body, man. You got to push your body to fast as much as you can. All right. So your body is prepared for when the time comes that these devils starve us out. It ain't nothing. It's just another day for us to fast, you see, and draw close to the Lord. See, these niggas of the world, they fast just for a fucking health reason, which that's also good too. All right. But see, they don't have the understanding and the true significance of a fast, man. This fasting is to knock off demons, to knock off the flesh, for you to draw closer to your power. These niggas will just fast because, all right, you know, the doctor told me to fast or some shit. You see, they're not praying, they're not reading, they're not drawing closer to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. So really, your fast is for nothing. You see. So you know you have to train your body to fast to the best of your ability. All right. So let's go back to real quick a couple of precepts and I'll close out. All right. This is which is the one I had. I had Psalms 37. And I think I wanted, Psalms 64 also. All right, this is let's grab it from 64:2. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows and shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. So the perfect is us. All right. They're always trying to shoot at the innocent, man, with their evil schemes. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? You see, and that's what this devil does, man. This is why you're not to be ignorant of his devices, man, because his schemes are always coming around, man. All right. And he tries to, encourage himself in an evil matter, thinking that the Lord don't see him, thinking that the Lord not taking his number for what he doing. All right. It says, matter of fact, let's go to Psalms 37. All right. Back to 37:7. It says, rest in the Lord Yahweh and wait for him patiently, right? Fret not thyself because of him who prospereth in his way, because of the man who bringeth wicked devices to pass. Okay. Cease from anger and forsake wrath. Fret not thyself in any wise to do evil, for evildoers shall be cut off, but those that wait upon the Lord Yahweh, they shall inherit the earth. You see? So at the end of the day, all right, we're not to avenge ourselves, all right, because the Lord said that vengeance is his. All right, we're not to fret ourselves, all right, and make it a big deal, all right, because evildoers are going to be cut off, and this devil's going to be cut off in the fullness of his sufficiency. Okay, let's grab this precept real quick. This is Proverbs. Let me grab Psalms real quick, actually. Psalms 10:2. The wicked in his pride does persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. All right. And that's what's eventually going to happen, man. All right. They are going to be taken in their own devices. Their own, it's going to return upon its own head. All right. This is Psalms 33:10. The Lord Yahweh bringeth the counsel of the heathen to naught. He maketh the devices of the people of none effect. Okay. And it's not going to be an effect to the elect. Okay. Because we're not ignorant to his devices, man. So he's not going to affect us, man. You're going to affect these 2/3. You see? But those that believe in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai are not going to be affected by it, man. Okay. This is give me 1 second. This is Proverbs, the 1st chapter. I'll take it from 24. It says, because I have called and ye refused, I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded, but ye have set at naught all my counsel and will none of my reproof. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. When your fear cometh as a desolation and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. For that they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord Yahweh. They would none of my counsel. They despised all my reproof. Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way and be filled with their own devices. For the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. You see? But whosoever hearkeneth unto me shall dwell safely and shall be quiet from the fear of evil. See, so at the end of the day, all right, they're going to get caught up in their own devices. They're going to get caught up in the schemes of the devil. They're going to get caught up in the wiles of the devil. See, this is why you have to be girded up with truth, man, because you're able to dodge all the fiery darts of the wicked. All right, this is Ephesians 6:10. It says, my brethren, be strong in the Lord Yahushai in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of Yahweh, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. See, against the strategies of this devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. And by us being, all right, not wrestling against flesh and blood, but against spiritual things, this is why you have to remain walking in the spirit, man. All right, because you'll always have the eyes out to see these things spiritually before they come. All right, it says, wherefore take unto you the whole armor of Yahweh, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand. Okay, stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. You see, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the spirit, which is the word of Yahweh, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the spirit. Okay, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints. For me, that utterance may be given unto me, that I may open my mouth boldly to make known the mystery of the gospel. For I am an ambassador in bonds, that therein I may speak boldly as I ought to speak. You see, and this is why we speak, all right, very boldly, standing up against the workers of iniquity, man, because we're trying to usher in the elect to be in the same mindset, okay, to be strong in the faith of the Lord, all right, and persevere through all things, man, all right, through the thick and the thin, whether you know you're at your best time or you're at your worst time, all right, you have to persevere through the spirit, all right, so that none of these things of the flesh come upon us, man, to make us turn from our power. You see? So let me see what we got here. This is Isaiah. This is Isaiah 40 and 31. It says, but they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. All right. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. Yeah. And that's going to have spiritual power behind it. All right. See, when you trust in the Lord, all right, especially when you fast like that, man. See, we're going to be able to have spiritual power, all right, because the Lord's going to grant us that, all right. That's one of the rewards that the Lord's going to give us for putting our full trust in him, is spiritual power, all right. And that day we're going to be able to, hey, man, we're going to be able to do a lot, all right, when Esau try to make his certain moves, all right. So we're going to have spiritual power in the time of Jacob's trouble, all right, and we're going to have spiritual power when we get into the kingdom, you know, having the ultimate spiritual power in the kingdom, all right, because we're going to be back to, you know, us being 100% pristine condition, man, all right, being as gods as we were in the beginning, you know. But yeah, that's pretty much the point. So I'm gonna leave it at that through the spirit, all right. Just remember, you know, lights is about to be put out at one point, all right, and be not ignorant to these devices, all right, that this devil has, that he's going to try to prosper with, because you put in your trust in the Lord, he going to put them devices to naught, all right. None of them are going to have effect on the elect, all right. We're not going to be deceived by his devices. We are not ignorant to them, all right. We are to make sure that we constantly put our trust in Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. All right, so with that being said, Lord willing, you were edified. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Kol Haloyim La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ochak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone and the like-minded brothers. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that scattered abroad, the Akim and the Akwat that was listening in. And hey, keep pushing, keep fighting the good fight of faith and doing as good soldiers of Yahweh Shai as always, man. And a ball soon. May this place be brought down to naught ASAP through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. Shalom. The water for the scriptures. Shalom.